Teeter. This is James Davis. You had called me earlier, and I was returning your call.
Okay. Well, you had left a message on my phone while I was out of town saying you had some sort of problem that you thought the AG ought to get a hold of.
Yeah, we couldn't. And who are you with? Are you with
I'm a Deputy Attorney General.
Deputy Attorney General? Okay. Yeah, we couldn't get a hold of anybody, and it is a very serious issue. I mean, it's thousands of issues.
Well, talk to me a little bit about it. Let's see if I doubt I'm going to be able to help with it, because this part of the AG's office that I run has to do with the state's title to real property and the state's construction of buildings and the state buying stuff in the marketplace.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what my brother and I have ran up against. Let me ask you this: He is more familiar with this. It's a thing that we've been working with for almost 2 years.
Tell me a little bit about the problem, and let's see if I can help with it, or want to tell you somebody that might be better to call.
Okay. The first problem is this: that Privacy Act thing where you can go get information. I get all tangled up. I'm a little old.
That's all right. Just tell me what you got to say.
Okay. Well, that privacy information, public information.
Okay.
We have
Records Act.
Yes.
You can write me a letter and say, send me all your documents about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Well, for almost 2 years, we have been trying to get this from from this organization, and they are a 501c3.
Oh, wait a minute now. Let's talk about that. 501c3 can be a public or a private organization.
This one is a public organization.
All right, what is it?
It's Coharie Inter-Tribal Council, Inc.
God help us. Okay.
And,
all right.
And they have 3 501c3s operating from the same building. They juggle funds around, the HUD funds, the NAHASDA funds. They're not helping the people with it, they're helping themselves with it. We have documented proof.
All right, tell me who you talked to about this problem so far.
Well, we've addressed it mainly down at this tribal center down there. And they just refuse, shut us down, and for 1.5 years this has been going on. Then we talked to Senator Jackson. You know him, Brent Jackson?
I know of him. I don't know him personally.
Okay. We gave him all this information, and he basically just shut it down. And my brother lives in Sampson County, so he addressed him. He's one of his constituents. Then Mr. Meredith, Wesley Meredith in Cumberland County, is my senator. So I called him, set up an appointment. We go over and talk to him over 1 year ago. And he's ready to jump up and let's go down there and get the information you want and da da da. Then the next week, all of a sudden, he's just irresponsive. Then, come to find out, he says, well, get me all of the documentation. So this lady is an insider and got him all the documentation and gave it to him. And now he's had it for over 1 year, so we called him the other day. We called Mr. Meredith, I did. And I didn't get him, I got his voicemail, so I left him a voicemail and told him that I was checking with him on the status of what we had got up with him over 1 year ago about. And what was that? Well, he called me back, and I missed his call, but on the voicemail he left me, I still have it. He says, Mr. Davis, don't call me anymore. I have turned those documents over to the governor, and they're under investigation. Well, when he told us that, we took it for granted that's what he had done. So then we try to get in touch with the governor, but we can't because he has got a liaison there now. And the liaison contacts us. And then for whatever reason, all of a sudden, he shuts down. He will have nothing else to do with it. So all we're asking for is to get to talk to Mr. Cooper or the governor and share this information. And I'll tell you where some that my brother has put on Watchdog Wire. Watchdog Wire. He has 3 articles on there concerning this. And these people are threatening this whistleblower that's an insider.
So to put it in just a few words, there are some now is this just limited to the Coharie tribe?
Yes, but the same thing from what been being in the paper, same thing is going on down in Lumberton with the Lumbee. But this is a much, well, in Lumberton, they're doing the same thing, but they get millions of dollars, where these down here probably get $1 million, maybe $2 million a year. And it's on a bigger scale in Lumberton, but then again down here, they're abusing probably 90% of the Nahasta HUD funding and ANA grants.
All right. There's several things that kind of cross here that you might want to explore, but let me give you one name and one phone number.
Okay.
Might be a good place for you to start.
Okay.
Have you talked to anybody at the North Carolina Commission on Indian Affairs?
Hey, you can hang that up.
How come?
The Commission of Indian Affairs is corrupt. They're the ones that induce this stuff.
Well, now I think it's only fair for me to tell you that they're one of my clients.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Because the AG's office they're part of the Department of Administration.
Right.
My office represents the Department of Administration.
Okay. Well,
have you talked to Greg Richardson at all?
We went up and talked to him, tried to get help from him, and what he said was this: you can't get to Paul Brooks to talk to him. That was before they ousted him. But Richardson told us that they didn't get involved in internal affairs. Well, one of their mandates is that they look out and search up, and they have the power to subpoena documents. And that's what we're asking for down there, is documents. So, and this Jared Lowry, who is a member of the Lumbee tribe, he's the one, this was whistleblower information that we got to Lowry, okay? Well, Lowry does not take it to the governor. Evidently, he carried it down to Richardson. And Richardson, and yes, but it's, and see, it's, in other words, he's revealing, then Richardson gets it right back, even though he's your client, Richardson gets it right back to the Coharie tribe down there.
Well, let me tell you that the Attorney General's office doesn't have any jurisdiction that I know of to investigate these kinds of matters. The Attorney General is a lawyer for the state government and all people of the state. Therefore, he can't represent any subset of people of one tribe or one organization over another.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were you, from what I hear you telling me, one of the big concerns you have is the HUD funds.
Yeah, HUD, and we have called HUD.
And will HUD not do anything for you?
HUD went in and found it so vile that they said, listen, we're just going to just forget about this, but y'all straighten up. Now, does that sound reasonable?
I don't know. I've never heard HUD do something like that. But
it's the biggest nightmare I've ever seen. And we have these people on video in a meeting, an open call meeting, saying that they have now listen, that it's not accounted for $740,000. They don't say what happened to the rest, but they got $740,000 that's not accounted for. We have them on video colluding to hide this.
Have you tried to go to any of the newspapers and talk about this?
Well, yeah, they don't even answer you back. We gave it to every newspaper. For some reason, they don't even notify us back. The only ones that we have got to help us has been the Watchdog Wire, and North Carolina Watchdog Wire. And if you were to go there, you would you could see that. You could see the articles that my brother has posted there, and they all have documentation to support them. They have videos to support them. It's a serious thing, and somehow we just don't believe that the governor.
let me give you somebody else that somebody try to talk to.
Okay.
Have you tried talking to anybody in the state auditor's office?
I called there. They wouldn't. Let's see. That woman's name was good gracious.
Beth Wood is the state auditor.
Beth.
Did you call their hotline?
No.
Give you the number of that hotline. This is supposed to be a for people that have information about fraud, waste, and abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1-800-730-TIPS, T-I-P-S.
Okay. But I left them a message one time. They never did get back.
Well, you just need to talk to somebody over there and tell them what your concerns are and what your information is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Auditor Woods does. Is she gets the information that somebody ain't doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
She goes in to investigate.
Okay.
If it involves fraud, waste, and abuse, and this sounds like it might.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful, friend. Nepotism and all collusion. There's an attorney involved. I mean, it's awful. It's awful.
Well, that's probably the state officer that outside of Indian Affairs that would have the most authority to go and look at a fraud or waste or abuse complaint.
Well, let me ask you this. See, if you represent the Commission of Indian Affairs, could we not send you a request?
No.
We can't. Okay.
No. In other words, I defend them. So if you go down to the courthouse and sue them,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be on the other side.
Okay. I understand that.
So I don't want you to think that
No.
I speak for them or that you can tell me stuff that you will not tell me, that kind of stuff.
Oh, no. I understand that. But what I was getting to was, could you not read their what is it called, mandates or their rules of incorporation, whatever it is?
The Attorney General's office, as I just said a little bit ago, we can't represent individual people in the state. We represent the state government.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't give you legal advice as my client because my one and only client is the state of North Carolina.
Okay. All right.
So, one of the things is that a lawyer can't be on but one side of a case at a time.
Oh, yeah.
And like my granddaddy used to tell me, that a lawyer sees every dog will hunt with him. So I'm hunting with the state.
Yeah, I understand that, and I can appreciate that.
But I think that if you're going to get anybody in the city of Raleigh interested in a financial fraud, waste, and abuse kind of matter, particularly involving HUD funds and that kind of stuff that the state might have to pay back, Beth Wood is probably the person I would call.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Now, they have the chief down there. His name's Gene Jacobs. He's a felon. And the vice chairperson of that tribe, his name's Vinnie Bryant, they accosted this whistleblower's son. He is a special needs child. And they accosted him outside, trying to get information out of him about his mother. And there's an article on Watchdog Wire to that effect. And it's North Carolina State Watchdog Wire. It goes to the state, and then the top 10 every Friday they go national. All three.
Have you talked to anybody in the local district attorney's office down there?
If you go to Sampson County, to the good old boys down there, you've had it. My brother.
Don't tell me a story. Just answer yes or no.
Have we been to anybody?
Have you talked to anybody at the district attorney's office about any misconduct that you know of?
Yes, sir.
And well, it's up to the, as far as criminal misconduct, it's up to the local DA to prosecute it or not, depending on what he thinks the best thing is.
Let me share this with you. We went down, we had a meeting with Greg Jacobs, who is the tribal administrator down at the Coharie Intertribal Council. While in his office, this anthropologist comes in by the name of Wes White Tonkshiray. He comes in, and inside the office, he assaults my brother. So my brother goes down to take a warrant out on him down at Clinton to the magistrate's office. Well, we get in there. The one that the magistrate on call was Gene Fairclough, who was a previous chief of that Coharie tribe.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
The AG's got no authority to fix any of that.
Okay. But, I mean, you asked me, have we talked to any of them down there? And we had. We went so far as to talk to the Judge Thaggard to no avail. So if
I were you, I would call the waste number over at, or the tips number over at the auditor's office and see what they'll do with it.
Okay.
I wish you the best of luck. These things can sometimes be really hard to get straightened out and get all the facts out on the table so that everybody knows.
Well, let me ask you this. How hard is it to get a sit-down with Governor McCrory?
I don't know. I've never done one, but I suppose in proper circumstance I might get one. But for me, if it has to do with state business.
Yeah, I understand that.
But no, I don't know how hard that is. Typically, it's pretty hard to get to sit down with the governor.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I know that.
He's got 1,001 calls on his time.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, let me ask you this. Will you go to that watchdog wire and view that...
Look, sir, I can't do that.
Okay, all right.
I can't get involved in representing you, and I
don't
just as well not start down the road when because if I read something on there that indicates my client has done something wrong, I have a duty not to repeat it.
All right, I understand that.
So, you're kind of, in some ways, if you've decided that the Indian Affairs Commission is on the other side of this, you're talking to the other side's lawyer.
Okay. All right.
That's not good for you, and it ain't good for me.
That's right.
Because if I tell you something and it turns out not to be right, you're going to think I gave you bad information because I was protecting my client.
Okay. Are you going to be in for just a few minutes?
Well, actually, I'm not.
Okay. I didn't know I was going to have my brother to call you. He's a lot. He's...
I think you have told... I can't imagine what he can tell me that's going to change my response to you.
Okay, so...
Just to call the auditor and see what they'll do.
Okay, so Beth Woods.
Beth Woods.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good luck with it.
Bye.
Bye.